Welcome to the HOLDO MANEUVER podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Mike. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves into Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening and or watching, in this sometimes short-form Star Wars podcast, we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away. So join us as we prepare to execute the HOLDO Maneuver. All right.
You gotta go to Arizona, don't you? He'll be back. Don't worry. Welcome back.
Hey. Hey, what did Din Djarin say after Bo spit out his pog soup?
I don't know. He's never made pog soup, so it could be anything.
Like chicken.
Yeah, must have been a bad batch.
Wow.
Well, with that, welcome to the HOLDO Maneuver, guys. So for this episode, this is episode 41 of the HOLDO Maneuver with our guest, Coach Beard's Book Club, with Marita and Michaela.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We're all over the time zones today. We've gone global. But yeah, this episode we're going to be talking about chapter 20 of The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 4. All the numbers. The Foundling. So this episode aired on March 22nd of 2023. It was directed by Apollo Creed himself, Carl Weathers.
Yes.
And a brief synopsis of it, which it seems very simplified as compared to like when you actually watch episode. It just says Din Djarin returns to the hidden Mandalorian covert.
That is very simplified. Yes.
Not hidden enough, obviously, but
Right.
But yeah. So what I guess to kind of open this up, what would you guys say are like your opening thoughts and like initial ideas of what you liked about the episode? We'll kind of go round robin. So we start with Marita, then Michaela, then Mike, and then myself.
I thought it was a fun episode. I don't want to go too far into it until we actually do bit by bit recap, but I really, really love that they got Ahmed Best in there as the hero role, dual wielding the sabers. I felt I love that he has that opportunity to get in a role that I think the fans are really going to be kind about. Because I think he deserves that after all he has put up with in his life from the Star Wars fandom. And since we're a Ted Lasso podcast, I really there was so much found family in this episode. I really liked the whole feel of that because found family is such a big theme in Ted Lasso too. Michaela, how about you?
well, I really enjoyed that. I thought that Grogu was moving those rocks with the Force. Until they all decided to get up and crawl away, and I was like, oh, I take it the kids are only supposed to fall for that, but I was hook, line and sinker. Really loved it.
First time watching, I fell for it, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, that's good. I don't feel so bad now. But yeah, I enjoyed quite a few similarities with some other fantasy programs as well, like Game of Thrones, movies, Jurassic World, and Harry Potter. I saw some similarities or parallels that that occurred. And we're laughing because I can't say that word usually, and I did it. Yes.
You don't have to say it ever again.
And that's it. I've done it now. I'm not saying it again. But yeah, I really enjoyed that it was Bo's episode. I really felt like that the Mandalorian we were watching this time was Bo, not so much Din.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
While I enjoyed the episode, I did think it was one of the weaker episodes. I don't know if that was just Carl Weathers. I don't know how experienced he is as a storyteller. Could be that, or just maybe the episode was supposed to be something different, and with the cancellations of other projects, maybe they changed it on the fly. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I wanted him to eat the crab, Grogu, that is. I didn't want him to see him all scatter away. And I too am a fan that it's become more of a Bo storyline this season. I think that's the meatier role because Mando is who he is at this point. So I've been enjoying her turmoil within almost, because she's so against the way, and now she's saying this is the way all the time and living the life. And So
Mhm.
it's been fun.
Yeah, I would agree with what everyone else has said. The other thing I thought was funny with the crab / rocks was that Din didn't even realize that they were crabs either. He was just saying, "Stop playing with the rocks, kid." So, because and I like that it keeps showing this continued connection that Grogu has with like the living kind of side of the Force with like different animals, like the cargo, like like the hyperspace whales from a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Although that is when he's not committing genocide by eating all of
Frog
Mhm.
spawn.
the frog eggs.
Reasonable.
There's
So
so much frog spawn, it's fine. One or two.
Yeah. So he's Grogu's kind of on both sides of that coin, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
State and nature.
I enjoyed this quite a bit, and like you all said too, with Bo-Katan enjoying. She essentially is like second billing with well, Katie Sackhoff had essentially like second billing with Pedro Pascal this season anyway, so they're both kind of sharing that series regular credit,
Interesting.
which I'm glad to see that too, because it's also cool to see like the two different sides of like the coin, where she grew up
Mhm.
like a very different type of Mandalorian sect, and then he was a foundling, and then like introduced to this
Right.
Mandalorian way. So like where like she was like from birth was that way, and then he was like
Mhm.
inducted into it. It's been interesting to kind of see how they both come to it from different aspects, and how that's kind of interweaved their storylines this season so far too. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I guess from there we can kind of start going beat by beat. We already kind of touched on the crab rocks,
Mhm.
but then it goes to the kind of the sparring match that that Grogu and Paz Vizsla's kid have. I'm trying to remember. Ragnar Vizsla.
He's
Yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel's
I did want to say
nephew
with
as well.
the crabs, there is a great
Yeah.
illustration right at the start of the closing
Yeah.
credits of Grogu sort of looming
Oh,
over
yeah.
the
Sceptar,
crabs.
yeah.
It's absolutely adorable.
Mhm.
Sorry,
I-
I just wanted to
No
jump
worries.
back there a second.
No,
Oh
you're good.
yeah, and yeah, as Michaela said, with the Jimmy Kimmel's son is playing,
Nephew.
or nephew. Oh yeah,
Yes, he
yeah,
looks
nephew.
like him though. So yeah, I only know this
I did
because
not know that.
sometimes I watch the Screen Crush breakdowns. I didn't this time. I felt like it might be a bit cheating, but I do watch them sometimes. And once he said it, I was like, oh yeah, he does really look like him.
I usually watch those as well. But I wait until after we record this, so that I don't feel like I'm accidentally stealing
Same.
Right.
That's why I
stuff
didn't watch it.
that. But yeah, I will wait to listen to any of my friends' podcasts that talk about the same stuff until after, because I don't want to mooch their stuff by accident.
That's fair. That is fair.
Mooch, there's
Yeah.
stuff.
Mooch. But yeah, this was like the basically a Mandalorian paintball.
Yeah,
That was kind of
That's
interesting.
Raining
exactly what
darts.
it was, yeah. And I just
Yeah.
finished watching the community paintball episodes
Oh,
as well,
nice.
like
Nice.
literally just before, and I was like, oh, great, I love this.
The
Which
first one, the second one, or the third one?
All of them. I did
Awesome.
a thematic rewatch.
Nice.
which the other side connection to that is that when they did the Zoom kind of charity script read through of that episode back
It
in
was
2020,
Pedro.
yeah, Pedro Pascal filled in for Josh Holloway.
Have
I
you all
think.
watched that?
I
did not watch
Obviously,
that.
you've watched it.
No.
He can't keep it together. It's the best thing I've ever seen. He cannot keep it together, and for good reason. Here's your sperm. I don't know if we can put that in, but
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he's usually very funny in a lot of the interviews and like
yeah,
talking heads that he does. So, yeah, that Mike, definitely check that out, especially with us all being fans.
I remember it being announced and being like, I'm going to watch that. And then I forgot about it and immediately didn't watch it.
that sounds like something I do as well.
Yeah, I the other thing I liked with this too is that like Grogu kind of kept like he wasn't sure he should be using the Force to like do any of the stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to just do this the way that you do it, or can I do it the way that I'm supposed to do
Right.
it?
I think he's thinking, I could kill this child, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
With one flick of my wrist. But Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because, like, as a mom, my first instinct is he is tiny. What are you doing in there? And I liked the characterization of Bo-Katan because she didn't drop into the mom role. She didn't do that. She's
Yeah.
like, no, he believes in you. He's proud of you. Go on, go do it. It's okay.
And I love
Um,
how she constantly refers to Dunn as his dad. She's the only one
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've seen do it
Yeah,
twice now.
it's
Mhm.
When
it's
she says,
adorable.
"It's okay, your dad's just this," and I'm like, oh, my heart, I can't take it. It's so cute.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments in it. Like I had this listed in my favorite moments, but whereas she said, "Don't worry, my dad was the same way. He's just proud of you," to Grogu, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and he's doing like someone
flips.
compared it. Yeah, someone compared it to Kermit doing like the jumps or flips, and I think it was Great Muppet Caper, or it was one of the
Yeah.
Muppet movies. But that is essentially what Grogu is doing when he's like flipping back and forth like
Mhm.
that.
How do you
And
all feel about that? Because one of the things I'm constantly confused by is practical effects, or at least half practical, half CGI effects, are
Mhm.
Star Wars for me. Like, it wouldn't be the same, and I think that's
Right.
why I struggled with some of the prequels. It wouldn't be the same if there wasn't any form of a practical effect in there
Mhm.
for me.
yeah,
I was against like having him do all these crazy stunt flips like the Yoda stuff in the prequels. Like I just thought that was overkill. It was like when he first did it, I was like, did they just throw the puppet? Is that literally what they did? Like, I didn't expect him to just like flip over him, flip back, and then shoot him. Like I was expecting him to like pick the kid up and throw him,
That
and
would
then
have been
shoot
good.
him.
Hmm.
But,
Or just use the Force to jam up
Yeah.
his darts.
yeah, do
Yeah.
something. Hit him with his own dart when he shoots it.
I must admit, I thought he'd manipulate the paintballs in midair
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I wasn't mad.
Or Matrix.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's already so low he can't bend back.
That's
Yeah.
that's fair. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I liked with that too. Is like before we like even knew it, he like had already shot like all three, like a Mando paintballs into the kid's chest, and it kind of looked like the Predator, like
Yeah.
like the laser focus thing.
Oh yeah, good
Well,
spot.
Carl was in that Predator.
There you go. And there he already did the handshake from Predator in the premiere with Mando, so I guess he had to work that in.
Right.
And then from that, the kid gets picked up by
Almost
just
immediately.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
he has
almost
really terrible luck with large animals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant turtle gator, the
yeah,
raptor.
The raptor, yeah.
yeah, cocaine gator, and then and now I guess meth raptor or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it's got stomach acid, but we'll get to that.
Oh,
I was going to bring that up
Oh,
as well.
yeah, me too.
Oh well, yeah, either that or like just the Beskar held up very, very, very well sitting in the inside.
He only has a helmet though.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
re-
Yes, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so from there, like this part I thought was funny too. Before like we saw any of this too, like there's just that establishing shot of everyone's just like I don't know, it's like a training montage almost a little bit, like I guess what you would have seen like in a Rocky movie. Almost
It's like the
just
Night's Watch in Game of
Right.
Thrones. That's my first parallel. Was as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This is like the Night's Watch."
Oh, you said
Yeah,
that
And
so
then they end up
effortlessly.
scaling a wall later. So
yeah, everyone's just like shooting off like their like
just
weapons.
casually fighting, just constantly.
Yeah, and then I like the two flamethrowers against one. I was like,
Oh, right.
yeah, I don't know how you get paintballs, but you're allowed to have real flamethrowers. That's
Well, they're
I don't-
trained, so they know what they're doing.
well,
That's
that's
true.
true. That's true.
They're allowed
But
to burn themselves.
yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting and random. Is that like what they're doing all day, all the time, or we just
That's
like,
what I was wondering. It's like
we
they're
just-
just that
joined them as they were in the middle of training, I guess.
because last I
Yeah.
knew, the Mandalorian were so spread out, they couldn't have time to sit there and fight each other all day because they weren't near each other.
But yeah, so like when when the kid gets picked up, a bunch of them, including his Buzz Vizsla, the kid's dad, like go after the raptor, and they're like they all are using like their jetpacks and like shooting their weapons and stuff at the raptors.
I thought they didn't
catch 'em.
shoot.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
told
they
not
said
to
it'll kill
shoot
the-
because it would kill
yeah.
Oh,
kill
yeah,
the
that's
young
right.
one.
Mm.
That's right. But yeah, then Paz Vizsla, like he runs out of
Fuel,
yeah, fuel, and
which I didn't think was
jetpack.
possible with those
Same,
jetpacks.
same. Long walk
Right.
back for him and all the others. But yeah, they said that they never make it. They always run out of fuel. And I had to stop and be like, did Boba Fett ever run out of fuel?
Yeah, I don't think
But-
anyone. She used it
No.
underwater and like Bo-Katan. It's like,
yeah.
oh, now you have fuel problems. I don't know.
But yeah, it's a plot point. So we'll
Yeah.
forgive
And
it.
I do love how she's so practical.
Yeah.
She's like,
Mhm.
"No, I have a ship here.
Yeah.
We're gonna use
What are we
this."
doing?
Yeah, and I really liked that kind of Apocalypse Now shot too, like into the like sun. They did that in J.J. Abrams did that in Force Awakens too, where we've gotten a lot more of these like atmospheric shots like on the worlds that they've been in the
Yeah.
past, like in more recent Star Wars stuff, and I've liked seeing like the kind of atmospheric starships like in like on planet rather than always in space. So it's been cool to see some of these like cool cinematic shots like that. But yeah, she goes and follows to see where the raptor is, and then she kind of, I liked with her talking about like where she found or where it was. She's like, oh, you just have to climb up this. It's not that big of a deal. I used to do
Yeah,
that
we used to do it all
Used
the
to
time.
do that when I was a
little
kid.
kid.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's you can climb that, and then they show them like, not to cut too far ahead, but just on the same thought is that they show them climbing up that later. It's like, that you did that when you were a kid. That
Yeah,
doesn't
and
seem
she was
like it
part
was
of the
that easy.
landed gentry, right? She was posh compared to Din, like
Mhm.
so. You wouldn't have thought that he would have had his daughter doing that, but I bet there was somebody waiting at the bottom just to catch her, just in case.
Yeah, I guess it's good that they had the jetpacks just in case they do fall.
Which she
But-
gets smacked out of the air. So
Yeah. Yeah, so she gathers the hunting party, which includes Din and Ragnar's father, Paz Vizsla, and leads them to the raptor's nest. And like during this part too, this is I liked how Bo says to Din, she's like, so when we're all together, how do you eat?
I
We
thought
were
that
all
was so
thinking it.
strange. It's
We
like,
were all
Yeah,
thinking it.
I don't
though.
know. Feeling the pandemic, people would be kind of used to just tucking
Yeah.
stuff through the
Yeah.
mask. But
Yeah.
I
We've
do
seen
love.
Go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say we've seen Din kind of like under his mask before.
Yeah.
So I just kind of thought everyone was just gonna like, you see them like pushing stuff on.
Yeah, me too.
Genuine question, because I don't know this. What if your helmet falls off during battle? Do you have to? Is that
you got to go bathe in the living waters.
Jings?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's no rule against.
You do
We
hear
don't know
when
the rules.
she lifts the helmet off, you can hear a sort of like suction noise. So I assume it
Oh, yeah.
can't fall off during battle. But I was just
Well, and
wondering.
he pressurized his when he was first
That's
on
right.
Yeah,
Mandalore. Yeah. So
I'm sure
presumably,
if it's falling off, it's with your head during battle.
That's probably true, and then you don't really have to worry
Like
about.
yeah,
Django.
no one
weight.
has seen your face.
Yeah, kind of like Django.
Yep.
Side note to that, I think there was a was it that Daniel Logan, who played the young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, had said that there was originally a version of that where he asked George Lucas, he's like, so is my dad's head still in there when I pick up that helmet? Because he's like, because when his head fall out,
That's a fair question.
And I
Again.
think he said George was just like, don't think about that.
Yeah, you're overthinking it.
You're too young to be
Just
thinking.
pick
about
up the helmet.
But yeah, so it was kind of interesting too. Here was Paz Vizsla tells Bo-Katan that because she's the leader of the hunting party, that she gets the honor of sitting or staying by the fire to be able to eat. So I thought that was interesting too, and so she's kind of gaining a little bit more of like notoriety and respect within like this separate sect that she's kind of accidentally become a part of over the past few episodes.
And as an aside, I think most of the book club are Pedro Pascal fans, and I was secretly wishing that he would start leading hunting
like, can
parties.
Can the camera just go with him just for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
But I understand the story concept did not allow for this one because it's Bo's episode, so I'll take it. Oh,
Yeah,
and how like that's the other thing with them saying with Grogu at the start, like why doesn't he wear a helmet? And they're like, because he can't say the creed yet.
Yep.
How are they going to fit those ears in a helmet?
Good question.
Cut the
Just cut the sides out and let the ears
cut
fly
slots out, I
free.
guess.
That's yeah.
That or cut the ears off. One of the two.
Oh, I'd like to see the person who tried that.
There's some like nanotechnology that like wraps around the ears that has like
Yeah,
that'd be
poor
weird.
thing.
But while this is all going on, we cut back to like the armorer who's forging a new piece of Mandalorian armor for Grogu, just talking to him about basically like as like he grows into his station, that like so too like will his like armor like around him. So he's already basically got the mithril chainmail.
When did you get that? I forget.
Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
That was when Luke he was given the choice between the
Oh, that's right. Now you got me.
yeah.
I blocked Book of Boba Fett out.
Yeah, because the armor made that too with like that little bit of like extra Beskar that Din had, that he's like, can you make something for Grogu? I'm gonna go give it to him as a gift.
That was also, oh my god, so adorable.
I just like calling it mithril though, because that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it
what I
absolutely-
thought of it. Yeah, it's why not?
Yeah. Yeah, so I like, and like during like this whole bit, this is like where we get the flashback, a little bit more of Grogu's
Past.
yeah, like traumatic experience from, I was gonna call it Route 66 for a second.
Because you live there. You live on Route 66.
Interesting story was that my husband were watching it together, and when the kids I'm going to call him Jimmy Kimmel's nephew because I can't remember his name, but he got flown to the Raptor. We were like, oh, I wonder if he's going to die, and I was like, and my husband was like, I don't think he'll die. It's Star Wars, and I was like, yeah, because they aren't known.
Has he watched?
They aren't known for killing a bunch of kids, are they? And he was like, oh yeah, good point. So, yeah,
that is true. Not even the younglings survived. Yeah, so like I really enjoyed this Order 66 flashback.
Me too.
I'm wondering if they'll release like some of the like the character names of some of the like the other Jedis that were, or I guess Jedi, because Jedi is the plural of Jedi, that were protecting Grogu at first too. Because I feel like we're gonna keep getting this kind of backstory segmented like over many different seasons, many different episodes. It'll be kind of like Grogu's own like lost flashback, where it's like every once in a while you got a Grogu centric episode, and
so you got to hear the music for it to be a lost flashback. You got to hear that hum. Yeah.
And it was funny that we got even babyer, quote unquote, baby Yoda,
a little
like
blanket.
Yeah, and they made him look like that much younger too.
They did, yeah. They really did.
They
I wondered if I'd noticed that. If I just made that up in my head.
That's outstanding.
But yeah, it was cool here because we saw Jedi in the Jedi Temple. We saw Jedi Master Kelleran Beck, who is played by Ahmed Best, who people may know as Jar Jar Binks, or if you don't know, because I was telling my son after he watched it the other day, I was like, do you know who the guy was who played the Jedi that saves Grogu? And then he's like, oh no, who's that? And I was like, oh, it's Jar Jar Binks. He's like, wait, what? So yeah,
I can never remember what he looks like, but I know the name is associated with Jar Jar Binks.
I just always picture like the suit that they made him for
the Jar Jar head on top.
Yeah, and like the sweet like 80s Coach Beard sunglasses that he's wearing.
The visors.
Yeah.
I feel so incredibly sorry for what that man has been through, Ahmed Best. Like, even just the silly thing of being, all other actors of that level were probably still on the con circuit for 20 years making a fortune, and that wasn't an option for him unless he wanted to be consistently abused by fans. So
and it's not like it's even his fault.
Exactly.
That's the thing. George Lucas was like, no, you're doing good. You're doing fine.
Yeah. It's a very similar to what's going on in Ted Lasso with Nick Mohammed, who plays Nate, who has taken a bit of a turn. And some fans need to be reminded that Nick is not Nate and that he's an actor. And the reason you hate him so much is because he's a damn good actor.
Yeah,
that's,
very good.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's very similar.
Yeah. The internet is good for very many things, but it's also bad for many things, just because it gives a a loud voice to a minor segment of people that are
That's
able to
it.
become very loud from that.
Yeah.
Because with Ahmed Best, Jake Lloyd also had to deal with all that, and Jake Lloyd was like a little kid.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was awful as well. Like really, really awful.
Yeah.
It's a movie, guys.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like you gotta remember that.
but it was, and I don't even like that. Like people are calling it like a redemption thing for
No.
Ahmed Best, because it's not like he doesn't
He
need to
didn't
be
do anything
He
wrong
redeemed
needs
for
for
anything.
anything.
redeemed. No, he doesn't need Nate and Ted Lasso needs redeemed because he
Yeah.
did some stuff wrong. But this,
Right.
Ahmed didn't do anything wrong. He played a part, and that's if you'd
I'm
liked
one who
it, we
said it
wouldn't
was a
be.
redemption. So
That's all right. That's like all like what all the headlines are saying.
no,
Like,
I
that
just
are, like,
I only say it because like of all the negative stuff he got, like how many of those people will recognize him on screen?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true. You're right.
But
And
it is, I think, a great opportunity for him to get recognition and actually be welcomed into the
exactly,
world. He
that's
can
that's
start
what I'm getting at.
doing cons, and because he's
Yeah.
put a lot of thought into the roles that he's
Mhm.
done. And yeah, Jar Jar Binks was not his fault. He was doing what he was asked.
I for one am in the fences. Did we need any of the Gungans? Like that's where like what did they add besides Jar Jar Binks?
I think a lot of it was based on the time as well, as we were heavily into 3D at the time,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah.
were doing all these 3D gags, reaching forward, and Jar Jar was quite physically comedic for that kind of genre. But we don't now. If you watch them, I don't know if you watch any of them on DVD or on TV. Some of the scenes are just jarring because they were specifically made for a 3D audience.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one
That
of
was
these
also
things.
the time of pushing the technology of like, because Jar Jar was the first fully like CG
Mm.
model
Yeah.
character that was
Mhm.
interacting, and then after that, like a few years later, would be Gollum in the Lord
Mhm.
of the Rings movies.
I don't know why, but I think it might have a lot to do with Andy Serkis or mocap in general, just getting better. But Gollum, I'm fully invested in him being an actual creature. To me, it's really
Oh, yeah.
hard to. Oh, it's CGI. It just you can really immerse yourself in that like role, watching it happen. But I think that might just be it. There was quite a bit of time. Can't remember how much time I was like in my 20s. So
Yeah, just because like with that new technology, like even with it only being like 2 or 3 years between that,
mhm.
with that technology, that was such enough
Yeah.
time between that to have,
Yeah, they're
like,
on the
even
upward
now,
curve.
yeah, like even if you watched or looked at like one of the, speaking of Andy Serkis, if you watched like one of the Planet of the Apes movies from
Hmm.
even like 5 or 6 years ago, and then watched one of like the later films in that, like a few years later, even between that, you can just see how much better it looks in between that, and it's just going to
Absolutely.
keep getting better. There's
Mhm.
probably stuff that we watch nowadays that we don't even realize
It's
Yep.
mocap.
is
Yeah.
CG or
Mhm.
mocap. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
speaking of Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us, there was a shot of the giraffe in that, which a lot of people thought was CG, which was actually
Which
practically shot.
Right.
I've seen somebody on Twitter basically saying we have got to the point now where people can't actually tell real life that they're saying this is bad CGI when it's
Well, and
actually an animal.
of course, the Ted Lasso connection. All the
Yeah,
people saying Brett Goldstein looked like CGI.
Yeah, that's never
in the last
dying,
season.
is it?
It's
Especially
never
since
going to.
FIFA,
Oh yeah.
Right.
They
So-
even leaned into it with the promotion for season 3. There was like the Ted Lasso Twitter account said, "I haven't seen something this uncanny since late 2000s Robert Zemeckis movies."
Nice.
He's like, "I love you, Roy, but I haven't seen something this uncanny since." But
Very good.
I just liked how much like they're kind of like leaning into it at all.
Yeah.
So with Jedi, also
Circle back.
all of that to be said, that Hayden Christensen is also getting in a kind of, I guess, this redemption of
Mm.
I hope that Jake Lloyd is able to kind of get
Yeah.
Well,
part of
last
this
I
too.
heard, he's been like institutionalized, hasn't he?
Oh God, that's awful. That's awful. I did not know that.
Yeah,
What a
he's
shame. And you can't say that these sort of things don't play a
Oh,
part.
God,
in
no.
this.
You
As a
got this-
child, man. It was a
Mhm.
Yeah.
child. Like, get a grip.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know the best way to segue, but like with Ahmed Best
Raccoon,
as
stop and go.
yeah, Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. So he also has already played this character before too, because they had, it was a short-lived
That little kid game show, yeah.
yeah, like it was on YouTube, but I think it was supposed to be on Disney Plus, but I only ever saw that it was on YouTube. But he was also that same character in Jedi Temple Challenge.
Oh,
It was a game show from 2020. So
Hmm.
it's the same character name and everything.
that went over my head. I'll need to check that out.
Yeah, you could. I'll put a link to it in our show notes for people to check out too. Like they have the first full episode on YouTube still.
Mhm.
But
I
like
didn't. You sent it to me, but I didn't watch it. Was it basically like the Jedi version of Legends of the Hidden Temple?
yes,
Oh, I'm in. I'm in.
yeah. I wish it had actually like continued longer, just because that's a cool idea for, and that gives them more kind of like, I guess, unscripted
Mhm.
content to have on Disney Plus too, as opposed to, because I mean, I guess they have like a more variety of stuff in their wheelhouse besides animation and the live action shows.
Right.
But
But
it
they
is,
did, they do the little episodes in between, like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, with the
Oh, yeah.
little that was clearly meant for kids, and I watched the whole thing through
Mm.
twice. With Groot, the little baby Groot doing all this wild
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
That was great. I loved that.
and like Tales of the Jedi, those shorter kind of like vignette
Mhm.
episodes, and I believe it's gonna be aimed at more like the preschool ages, but with the series that they have coming out, I believe it may be the first short of it is already on Disney Plus, but the Young Jedi Adventures, which is set during like the High Republic, that one has Yoda in it too, so you can see
Mm.
like Yoda that's like essentially almost a 1,000 years younger, or I don't know how much younger he'd be, because he somehow still has white hair in it though, so I don't know how that works, if he's supposed to be much younger than he was.
He had a
in
hard paper round, as we say here in Scotland.
there you go. But I loved this whole scene with Ahmed Best getting Grogu out of there. I saw an article that he said where he'd based part of like his fighting style as his character off of Bruce Lee.
Nice.
Specifically with like how he has the two
Dual
sabers,
wield. Mhm.
which is cool because like I think we've only seen, like at least in live action, Anakin with the two sabers in either hand.
I think so. That I
And
know of.
I think that's it, as far as, or no, besides Ahsoka, obviously.
So I was going to say, yeah, that's from, oh God, all of them merged together now that I can't remember which one was in which.
That's what they want it to
IP.
be.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, season 2 Mando. Yeah, because like where
Yes.
where we find out Grogu's name. But yeah, I like this whole scene. I liked like this whole chase. And what was kind of cool is, I don't know if we've seen these speeder bikes before, but the ones that essentially look like a motorcycle with like a side cab.
This is my second parallel, is that a man saving a baby in a speeder with a sidecar was very Hagrid saving Harry.
Yeah.
Potter, it's like almost,
Yeah.
especially even when he lands and they're like, where are the rest of them? And he's like, that was it, and I was like, oh, another parallel. I said it again.
There you go.
You're on a roll. You're gonna jinx yourself though.
I want a cookie.
it's even a flying motorbike too, so
It is, yeah, exactly, yeah.
But like I liked like this whole shot. It reminded me a lot of like some of the chase sequence in Attack of the Clones too, with Anakin going after the bounty hunter, and that like it seemed like some of the same areas too, because there's like that tube area that he flew through.
Yeah, and then came out in the station, right?
Yeah, and what I thought was kind of interesting though too is that like the clone troopers like in their ships are like shooting at them like on Coruscant, and they hit a building too. So I was like, I don't know what like all the rules to that would be, but it seems kind of like the same way like that, like I guess like a cop wouldn't be allowed to like shoot like into like an open crowd of people. It feels like that's almost kind of like what the clones are doing at that
collateral
point.
damage time.
Yeah,
Well,
so
they're not really in control of themselves.
that's true.
Right.
They're just like, oh, you must kill this guy. Like, so who cares?
And if their rules of engagement are prioritizing killing Jedi over protecting the populace than
Well, some Asimov stuff
Yeah.
coming in, but the opposite way round.
Good troopers follow orders, as what's his name? Crosshair says
Yep.
in Bad Batch.
And you can guarantee if they hit the building, they weren't aiming for the building.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
this is
true.
where their bad aim started.
Mhm.
But so when he lands too, the members that we see there are actually Naboo armed forces, which I thought was interesting. So it would be kind of cool in a way if we see Keller and Beck meet Jar Jar.
I was wondering if that's what they're gonna
Yeah.
do.
Do you
I'm
think
just-
that was a deliberate choice then, not necessarily attached to story, but more of a sort of nod?
It could be both, or just that.
Yeah, why not both?
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll see any more with him here, because I feel like if we weren't gonna see more with that character, they would have also just killed off his character right there too, instead
Yeah,
of
give him his
having
own
it-
series. I will watch that.
or show up in Skeleton Crew or something like that.
Mhm,
He'll be
Uh,
back in some fashion.
mhm.
Because I know in the books that they had released that Jar Jar is essentially like a mime or like a clown, like a street performer, like on the streets
Mhm.
of Theed. Essentially kind of giving some kind of real life falling into
So they can say,
like the
look, he's
story.
not just a clown because of his species. He's
Yeah.
just a clown, and the rest of his species is actually okay. He was just the, he was the
Yeah.
asshole.
And then he becomes a senator.
There you go.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear more about the Darth Jar Jar theory, go back to our Phantom Menace episode that we
Yeah,
did.
there's that theory.
Because there's actually some very interesting evidence about Jar Jar being like a
Sith
secret
Lord.
Sith Lord.
Wow. I'm going to check. I actually missed
Yes,
that. I'm going to check that out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Lawrence that was on that one, he gave us like I didn't ever like lean to thinking about that, but like after some of the stuff that he told us, and I was like, these are some good points.
I love a good theory. I love it. As long as it's well backed up, I will listen to a theory. Even if I don't agree, I just love it.
Yeah, it's at least fun to listen to too. But
Mhm.
yeah, so hopefully we see more with him too, because from this flashback, it basically cuts to them into hyperspace and then goes back to Grogu watching
Mhm.
this huge, at least compared to Grogu, like this huge,
I know.
like circular
Front
disc,
Yeah.
which I guess would just be like a chest plate for him.
Yeah, it's like a heart protector, right? Like, well, he's got double because he's got the Kevlar and now
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got the chest plate.
Yeah.
I would have
Cool.
liked to have seen him with little podrons on his little coat.
Oh
They're
yeah,
coming.
Mm-hmm.
he's got to get a new coat now too, because he's got like the paint stains on it. So
Can he wash
We've
his
not seen
coat?
is his coat like sewed together at the bottom, like you put babies in those bags to put them to sleep? Because we've never
sleep
seen his
sack?
feet. Have we seen his feet?
Yeah. I don't think we have.
Mm-hmm. Getting to
I
the
don't know.
heart of the issue
He,
here.
he doesn't walk, so I guess not.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the closest you've seen to like Grogu, Yoda, Yaddle's species, like not wearing a robe like that is in Revenge of the Sith, like when Yoda's falls off as he's like falling to the floor, and he just
Yeah.
has like his white kind of like t-shirt short tunic
That's
thing
right.
on.
That was weird. So I struggled with
You're
that
like, never
one.
mind, I don't want that.
Yeah.
He's kind of got like the raptor, like claw
The claws,
T-Rex
yeah.
feet.
Mhm.
So maybe Grogu wouldn't be as cute if you saw his feet.
I don't know.
All the Grogu toys have feet. I know that. So
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
do they? I need to
Yeah.
get myself a Grogu toy. I don't have any kids, but that's no excuse.
You've
Nope.
got
I'm going to
a
get one.
cashiers
I-
don't know you don't have kids. They'll sell it to you.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no shame. Don't worry. I've got toys galore.
Just be like Kevin McAllister and be like, it's for the kids.
Yeah. It's for the kids. I love that movie. Home
Uh,
Alone, one of my favorites.
It's a good movie.
Mhm.
Macaulay Culkin in Star Wars when?
Oh God, that would be good. That would. I feel like everybody would expect some sort of, sort of
Yeah.
Easter eggs to Home Alone. I don't think he'll do it. I think he's got too much integrity.
Yeah. But then like so from here we then cut back to Vizsla and Bo-Katan and everyone as they're scaling up the side of that mountain, that Bo-Katan was like, no, it's no big deal.
No problem.
And we see like another kind of practical use for like their grappling hook that we've seen them use plenty of times before to like just for other stuff, but like now they're actually using it to like climb up. So I thought that was like a cool, smart way to see them scaling up the side of that cliff just by using it. I guess doing it Batman style.
Well, like when the original Batman, when it's filmed sideways and they're just walking up the side of the wall. I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Now with that, like Vizsla kind of has like an over eagerness to save his son Ragnar there, so he disrupts Bo-Katan's plan, which because he sees like Din sees like the heat signature like in the nest there, so Vizsla like is like, all right, I'll go after him. He's my son. And, like the first time I like hear that like confirmation that is his son.
Yeah. Because I didn't realize, and I was like, oh, I've clearly missed something, but I think that was the first time we knew that was his son, right?
Yeah, like I think it was implied throughout some of the episodes before that.
Oh, when he was sort of baptized. I don't know what the Mandalorian word for that is, but yeah.
Essentially.
Mandotized? I don't know.
Almost eaten.
Yeah, yeah. Really hidden there, guys, really hidden.
Yeah, like they need to like check, I guess, the surroundings a little bit better of like what big animals or native animals are.
That's what I'm wondering, because so far they can't kill anything on this planet, it seems. Everything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming. Well, they didn't kill the mom.
Nope.
There's always a bigger fish killed the mom.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the same thing that tried to eat the kid, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
Which again,
different
Jurassic.
one.
It was like Jurassic World. That that was very much like when I can't remember the name of the big sea dinosaur.
Something sore.
Yeah,
something sore. Yeah.
Mythos. Let's just call it the mythosaur, even though it's not.
Not here for science. It's fine.
Yeah. Which, side note to that babysitter in that movie did not deserve the kind of death that she got by getting picked up by the pterodactyls, pulled apart. As getting pulled apart, then the thing jumps out of the water and eats the pterodactyls and her at the same time.
Yeah, it was traumatic.
Like, what did she do to as a character to deserve that?
Probably be a woman.
She would go on to play Lena Luthor in the Supergirl TV series.
Interesting. Right, I didn't know that. I don't really keep up with any of the Supergirl or the DC ones. I don't know.
She actually, I think the actress is Scottish too.
Oh.
So like they actually leaned into that in the show too, because she's supposed to be. So this is like going off on a Supergirl tangent, but like she was adopted in that show, and like had.
She was a foundling. Is that what you're saying?
Show. Yeah, Lena Luthor was a foundling.
Yeah, I'm even angrier at her death now, knowing that the actress was Scottish. I'll need to write to somebody about that. 10 years too late or whatever.
Bryce Dallas Howard, just call her.
There you go.
Yeah.
Connects back to Jurassic World and Star Wars. See, it's all.
And
Bryce Dallas Howard is Yaddle.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
2 episodes ago, we said that about 432 times.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Kenny was all over that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny. I love Kenny. Kenny is just he's the nicest guy. He makes me laugh so much. I love Kenny.
I'm also sure that we were annoying Aspen with talking about jizz whaling many times in that episode too.
We were on fire that episode.
Yeah. But speaking of over eagerness, with Vizsla like climbing into the nest to kind of get his son there, this is where you guys were talking about. You don't think that the raptor had any
stomach acid?
Yeah.
Or just kind of
fluids at all. Like the kid popped out totally dry. You'd at least expect him to be gooey, right?
You would want some sort of goo, even if they maybe just kept it in his throat. There's goo in your throat. That was a little jarring for me.
Well, yeah,
He
and
was
like
spat
it
out
was
dry.
a day later almost.
No
Yeah.
corrosion on anything. Just like I was like, oh, okay.
Took him that long to feed the kids.
Mhm.
It's a
And not
dry.
particularly traumatized. He's like,
I know he was fine.
It's like,
Yeah.
and he must have been in there upside down that entire time too,
Which,
because
which
they would have picked him up, and then I guess swallowed him like
Throw
that,
him.
and then she like barfed him up, and he just
Mhm.
came out feet first, right? He came
Mhm.
out feet first, yeah.
You're not living upside down for that long, I'm afraid. So we're
Yeah,
just maybe it hung upside down for a while.
He's lucky he got his helmet then a few episodes ago, because
It's
if he'd
true.
been in there without that, he definitely would have not been
Pardon me.
alive.
Yeah.
But those baby raptors are very ugly.
Yeah. Hairless and weird. And
as
Mhm.
a lot of baby birds are.
That's
Yeah.
true. They were very baby bird looking actually, with the wrinkly little arm flaps. Wings, as we like to call them.
But yeah, like I'm like, because I almost made you feel like sympathetic for the raptor in a way. You're like, oh, okay, they're just trying to feed their kid, but then you don't want the Mandalorians to like either off the mom or the kids. So they're like, how do we resolve this issue now?
Yeah.
Oh, something else.
Disney
does it.
style.
Yeah, so nature did it. Some
Yep.
other animal took her
Being
out.
nature. Yeah.
I just want to see the shot of the inside of Bo's ship with the 3 raptors,
It's very
in there.
messy. I bet.
Same. That would have been great.
and like it was funny to see them like do like the carrot and the stick kind of thing to get them out.
Hmm.
But
Well,
I just
what
want
meat did
With
they
the chunk
use?
of bloody something.
Something was
that-
killed.
was that their mom?
I
That's
hope not.
cannibalism. I don't
Yeah.
think Disney would take it that far.
Well, it didn't look
Well-
like there was going to be a lot of the mom left, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Ewoks were gonna eat Han and Leia. I mean, I guess
That was
that's not canon,
pre-Disney.
but yeah.
Yeah. Plus they're Ewoks. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Well, I do admire their ambition to bring those, because I love the found family, all foundlings count. We don't leave
Mhm.
anybody
Yeah.
behind sort of idea, but they're on this planet. They clearly don't have a really good sense of what's there that can kill them. But when they find babies, they're like, "What the hell? We're gonna bring them home. They're gonna need some training."
You're coming
Who's
with us.
training them? I want to see who's training them. Yeah. Mind you, I think in all seriousness though, Grogu, as you said earlier, Mark, does have an affinity with the little animals. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
and did put the thing to sleep in Boba Fett by touching its head. So maybe Grogu will have some input on training those raptors.
Yeah, Mike had a note about that.
I said he's gonna
It's-
ride him.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you? I'm sorry, Mike.
No,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
going.
who's
Oh,
gonna
no.
ride him? Oh, that's a good
It's gonna
one.
be like Boba Fett riding
Like
the
the-
Rancor. He's gonna ride the Raptors.
Like Daenerys of
Like in-
riding her dragons.
that'd be-
I was
that'll
gonna
be
go with
interesting.
Eagles in Lord of the Rings, but
Fair. That's fair. It's probably also a better reference.
Or the kid from the Never-Ending Story.
there you go.
That
Don't like
doesn't
to
have
think
wings,
about that. I saw that at a birthday party. A horse died. It was awful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just heard you talking about that in one of the more recent episodes you were
Just
talking about.
vet your birthday party content, people. Don't. Why are you doing this?
Atreyu.
And next we're watching Watership Down. Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, Grogu would probably eat all those rabbits too. So,
True.
that's what Grogu does.
I was gonna say, did he live with the Gungans for a little while? Is that way he has an affinity for frogs? Like,
Maybe. Yeah, Gungans are just basically huge frogs,
so.
It was frog spawn.
like frog
Did
rabbits.
He did eat an
Just
actual
the
full frog
ears.
though as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to stick up for him, but
Because this has also been something that's always kind of bothered me. Is Boss Nass supposed to also be a Gungan?
He's
Because
a
why?
something.
If so, why does he look different than every other Gungan? He's also kind of like a frog, but he's like one of those like huge like I don't know, like a
Throat
bullfrog
pouches?
almost, where he's like the throat pouch.
Maybe that's just like how he rose to dominance, is like,
Yeah,
if you've got
that's
a big
why
throat.
that's why he's Boss Nass.
yeah, natural selection.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
But yeah, I remember when I was younger, I was like, wait, is he also a Gungan? Because he looks different than all of the other Gungans. He doesn't even have like the long ears or anything.
Nope.
But I guess different humans look different too. So I guess
That's true. That's
different
true.
Gungans could look different. So there's
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But so like the last little thing that's in this episode too is that like during that whole skirmish with the Raptors, part of Bo-Katan's pauldron falls off of her shoulder there. So, and I'm assuming this is just like more of like the steel. It's not actually Beskar, because it seemed like, you know, at least in season 1, like when Din was bringing the Beskar to the armor to like get his essentially re-outfitted to be like the
Mhm.
entire suit to be Beskar rather than have the brown leather looking kind of armor that he had. Like it seems like the bows is just some kind of steel, but
I wasn't sure about that as well. I didn't know if Din was having to bring it because technically he wasn't part of the clans anymore, and you know she wasn't going to use up her best car supply for him. But I wasn't
yeah.
sure because it did look kind of like Din's armor, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I know there's like there is like another type of steel that Mandalorians use too. I don't remember like the exact name of it off the top of my head. I think it's but yeah, we'll just call it Mando steel or something like that. But yeah, so Bo-Katan asks if she can use a mythosaur for the sigil on it, and like the armor tells her that the mythosaur belongs to all Mandalorians. But she's like, no, but I actually saw one.
It was there.
And it just kind of seems like Armor's like, sure you did.
Of course, dear.
Yeah.
We
I
all
was just like, just answer a question though, because she's very elusive, the armorer. You know, you're like,
yeah.
What did she just say to her? Did she say, I know you saw one, they're real, or did she say, they're there?
She's like, I think we all see them or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, but then
exactly.
she just said, this is the
So,
way.
like, you'll see
Yeah.
many things. Mandalorians see many things. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. What's in the Pog soup if Mandalorians see a lot of things?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like this is where Bo-Katan says this is the way in this episode too. So I'm still of somewhat of the mind that the armor was definitely part of like that the Mandalorians like sect, just because of the horns on her helmet. So I almost think that she's gonna end up being like kind of like the secret antagonist to this season, because like we have like some of the side stuff going off like off screen, like we got Moff Gideon still kind of off
out there.
Yeah, like we don't know because I believe they alluded to him
maybe escaping.
Yeah, like escaping. So it'd be interesting to see like if he comes back there. It seems like there's some other stuff going on that could be like nefarious on like Navarro, like with everything that's going on with Carl
So
Weathers.
two other
over there.
Mandalorians with Bo could come back. Where are they?
That's right. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to have like a Moff Gideon. You know how Adam Driver did the SNL undercover boss?
Okay. Have him come back.
Moff Gideon come into the amnesty program. That could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. He just runs like a chicken restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. He's a
so
fast food
good.
restaurant.
He was so good. And Piercy's brother in Community as well. There we go. Tying it back.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
There you go.
But
yeah, so that was
Gilbert.
Foundling. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that was the video game episode, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that one and one other one where he sneaks back into the house.
The Halloween episode.
Oh yeah. Those are great episodes. So that I think that's gonna do like our kind of roundup of or like recap of the Foundling. So was there anything else like as far as like you guys had like favorite moments from the episode that you recalled that you wanted to speak on?
I just kind of like that it's sort of a crisis of faith for Bo-Katan, because she's talked about how, you know, this is all just ceremony and people wanted to watch, you know, me and my sister and our family do these ceremonies, but it's not real. It doesn't mean anything. And now that she's sort of seen the mythosaur and she knows there's some reality behind what's going on, and she's actually been welcomed into this group in a way she didn't expect. Seeing her sort of inner conflict, I like that journey for her in this season.
I echo that. That's been nice. It's been a turn I didn't expect, and it's been a good turn. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Well, I definitely see a lot of the sort of Scottish influences on Mandalorian culture in general, what with the clans and things like that. So getting to see Bo, who was a previous leader, have her reawakening is great. But I also would like to circle back to something Marita said about the concept art at the end. I wish more shows did this, because so much concept art just goes unseen. And
Yep.
I watch the whole credits just in awe at all the different concept art for the episodes. So I really enjoy the credits, which is weird, right?
yes and no. If you're just watching words going by, like I love words, like that's more weird than saying I like the art that's just showing. So.
As a book club podcast, I have to say we like words. We're
I meant
contractually
just
obliged.
staring at words scrolling by of
Yeah.
names. Like you just want to
Yeah.
read everybody's name. Just,
I mean, that's what Star Wars is scrolling words going up on the
True.
screen.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
who reads that? Come on.
Uh,
Everyone reads it.
I also, I guess, watched the credits out of principle because I was like, these are all people that worked on it, and people like me that worked on things that I would like
Yeah.
to.
You like seeing your name.
Yeah, but
you should,
I
as
mean,
you should.
Mhm.
granted, with some of these things that have all the visual effects in them, there's no way you could read every name because it's just like this
Here it
big
is. Bye.
square of text that goes by,
A
and
bit
you're like,
dizzy.
that.
Yeah.
Feel like there's my name right there.
That's what pause is for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, the other thing that I liked in this episode too is that we got the Mandalorian clapping, like where they
Oh
were
yeah, the
doing
Yeah.
like clanging their
I
armor
saw
together.
that. The little kids when it was coming off the plane. The
Yeah.
plane, the ship.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
There's one Mandalorian that was just going like shaking their arms like in the
Oh, I
air.
missed
Like,
him.
he
I
didn't
missed
get the
him.
memo to do this.
yeah,
He missed that meeting.
maybe they just had loose armor and that's how like
Yeah,
they're-
clang it.
Mhm.
Or yeah, he's a droid in there. Just Mandalorian droid.
But yeah, so I think that'll end up doing it for our recap of the Mandalorian season 3 episode 4, the Foundling. We hope everybody enjoyed our discussion, and we're looking forward to talking about the next episode soon. So you can leave us a review on the podcast catcher of your choice if it allows you to do so. Helps us out a lot. So Spotify, Apple, whatever. And then you can find the show on social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at HoldoPod. Mike and I are also on Instagram and Twitter. All this info is in the show
Somewhere.
notes. And then, and then Rita and Michaela, where can they find you all online?
So our podcast is wherever you find your podcasts. We're Coach Beard's Book Club. We're on Twitter at Beard's Book Club, and Instagram, we're there sometimes at Coach Beard's Book Club.
Nice. And then our editor is Vactor. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter as well. And then if you want to email us, you can email us at holdopod@gmail.com. Again, we thank you two for joining us this week. And as always, we are grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Oh dear, thank the maker.